All right, remember my cute little tedder that I was so proud of? Well, you people rained on my parade right away out of the box. There's sadness. Something I hadn't considered before, but it is in fact true. And I will explain that right after this. Welcome back. My name is Ross the Oliver Man. If you haven't seen the videos before, lots of meadow green tractors around and several New Holland hay tools, including this little tedder. And I bought it on auction time probably about a week ago now. And I thought, hey, you know, it didn't hardly bring nothing. It used to be 4 basket. Now it's 2. What does that matter, you know? Well, turns out somebody left a comment and I hadn't considered it before, and they are in fact right. Let me show you. If I start it up, let it run. See how nice and quiet it runs? However, what is wrong? We'll have a look at it. It's running the wrong way. If you have a 2 basket tedder, it needs to go that way so it shoots the hay out behind you. If you have a 4 basket, these 2 go this way, the outside one goes this way, and it slings it up there. Now, does this matter? Well, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not sure that it really would matter that much. A guy should probably just take it out sometime and try it. At face value, it does kind of make sense that you're going to want it to flip the hay straight behind you, you know, because your windrow, you'll drive over the center of it, and you want it to kind of rip that hay out. Instead of working against the direction you're going, you want it to work with the direction you're going. So, what to do? Well, I looked on the parts diagram to figure out how exactly it was made. And already I can see that I'm probably going to not be able to do what I wanted to do. But the simplest idea I have was, let's just flip the gearbox over and we'll pull it this way. However, that will also create a few problems, and I cannot remedy it the way I thought I was going to. But for one, I think that will work, except our crank deal for our hitch is welded permanently here, and that won't work. So we would have to make our own over there. I had originally thought that maybe this was also a circle, and then I could just clock it different and, you know, flip the hitch totally over, and then it would be fine. But seeing what I see now, that ain't gonna fly. And looking at the parts book, I just don't think there's any way to do this simply. But I'm going to check something first. The first thing we're going to do before we do anything else is I'm going to pull the back off that gearbox, and we're going to look in there and see. If it's made in such a way where I'll have to totally disassemble it because it's a continuous shaft. But if it was made in such a way that I could take that pinion gear and flip it over to this side, then problem solved. It'll run the right way. But if it won't let me do that, which I don't think it will, then there is a lot of stuff that's going to have to happen. I really wish it would, because even if I had to take it all apart, it still would be simpler than fabricating anything. But I just don't know that that's going to work, because in the parts diagram it looks like the side with the gear has a bearing behind it and the other side just has an oil seal. And the only way we're going to find this out is by just totally tearing this sucker apart practically. But I'm going to take that back plate off first, and we're going to see if we can see in there anything that looks like we could make this thing happen. And if there is, I don't have a problem with pulling the whole thing apart. And it turns out you can get almost every piece of this thing, but they're super expensive, you know? Like if I wanted to buy the tube that was the wing, $800 for just the center section of the tube. So we are going to have to, you know, use our wits about us, because this won't be worth it finally. I would like to get it to where it worked and whatever. I'd like to get my other one working. Then I'd probably like to trade them both for one that I really wanted, but I don't know if that'll ever happen. But for now, we're going to investigate in here. I've been having many sleepless nights thinking about this thing and what I might be able to do to make it go. So, yeah, that's what is going to happen. Okay, little buddy, let's hope. Let's hope that this is actually going to work out for once. I don't think it will, but I guess it never hurt to, you know, hope on the bright side. It probably has no oil in it, knowing the condition that it's in already. And how silly of me to not, there. Ooh. Well, the nice thing is somebody kept it greased. The unnice thing is there ain't gonna be no seeing nothing. I'm afraid that we already got problems, because I'm afraid I already felt a chunk of tooth or metal in the bottom. Boy, that's nasty. But there's really no way to get it out of there without just digging in. Every color grease imaginable. Ooh, we might be in luck. We might be in luck, and I'll explain that in a second. Boy, that's nasty. Okay, we're gonna have to get our bucket of oil out of the way, up where I can actually turn this, because we need to see specifically, well, we wouldn't even have to worry about that if what I think is the thing. I know I'm not making much sense, but...
Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with, look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Well, he's right, he did beat Medicare, he beat it to death.
All right. So, we might have a chance.
Least you can do is level with me. What are my chances?
Not good.
You mean not good like 1 out of 100?
I'd say more like 1 out of 1,000,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yeah!
With what I'm looking at here, it is like the parts book showed. You can see back there the PTO shaft part coming in. You can see that we have our gear here with a bearing immediately behind it. It does appear that the other side of the case has a bore for a bearing as well. Although I guess it really wouldn't matter if I flipped the whole gearbox over anyway, because what would there be to lose exactly? You know what I'm saying? There's no there's no reason why I don't think that wouldn't work, because nothing is actually bolted physically to the gearbox, although it is kind of angled up, isn't it? Although maybe it could be taken out with, I don't know. I don't know what to say here, folks.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
What I'm trying to say is, what I see now, I'm tempted enough to tear this whole thing apart just to see if I could turn the shaft end for end. There shouldn't be anything different about the shaft inside. It should be exactly the same, where, of course, see, my housings and stuff are a little different, so I want to keep the outside the same, but take the shaft inside and turn it around, which should be exactly the same on both ends, no different. The only difference is, when we're done, this gear will end up being over here, and it'll make it spin the opposite direction. Because you see right now, how am I trying to say? Right now, if our PTO goes this way, it's going to push down on those teeth, which is going to make it go that way. But if I put the gear on this side, it's going to lift up on those teeth, and it's going to make it go this way, which is what we want. So I think with a little bit of effort, I can make this a tedder that runs in the correct direction. Is it really worth it? I don't know. But right now I got nothing in it where I feel like there is money to be made, or at least usefulness to be had by doing this. Also, I can clean it all up and make it look pretty. And then, in theory, maybe I can make a swap, you know? I know it's weird to say that, but what I really want, a 4217 new idea tedder. And like I said before, that's a weird to be hung up on something like that, but I worked on one in the shop, and I just thought that's what I want. I mean, I had one all the way down to like what I'm going to have this one, totally disassembled. And the guy said, I have no idea. I've never had one apart that far, so I don't know. I think it can be done, though. But we got to take absolutely every piece apart to make this happen. I don't think there is any way to do it otherwise. I suppose that maybe that's not true. Perhaps I would only have to take, no, I couldn't. It won't work that way. I'm thinking out loud, but to do this correctly, the way we want, I'm gonna have to totally disassemble it. And then I might find out it won't work at all and have to start over. But that is a risk I am willing to take, you know? Because what have we got to lose? Absolutely nothing. Right now, it spins the wrong way, and I just don't think that that's what we want. I'm afraid that it's going to just make a balled up mess when you try to TED with it this way. You know, when you're doing a 4-basket tedder, I guess you're trying to straddle the windrows between, I don't know how to describe it, but maybe I'm being foolish here and this makes no problem at all, but every 2-basket tedder I've seen turns this way. I watched a lot of video of them just to make sure, but that's what I'm thinking. So when do we want to tackle this project? Immediately? I don't know. Because like I said, we're going to be starting over. We're going to be building a tedder. We got to take the wheels loose here at some place. Not exactly sure where. Probably right down here. Drive that out so we can drop that off, which will let this fall off, which will then get us to our main tube. And then everything else, you know. And then the last thing we're gonna have to do is flip all of these teeth around, I think. Well, maybe not all of them. Some of them. He's got them on every different direction, but we want them like this. We want the coils to be pushed against as it comes around. We don't want them like this, because then it's going to try to unwind the coil. So we'll have to flip over the ones that aren't the right way. But I think this can happen, friends. I think this can happen. And I think we can make a nicer looking little tedder when we're done. And maybe we'll learn to love it, you know? Maybe we won't want to get rid of it. Maybe it'll be a cute little feller that we like. But one thing's for sure, it ain't gonna happen just standing here staring at it. So I'm trying to decide what I want to do. It looks like one bolt already was working. It wanted to be taken apart. I think that if I take those 6 bolts out, 3 there, 3 there, I can just take the whole hitch right off of this thing. And then that part's done. And then all we got to do is get the wheels to drop off. In theory, this really shouldn't take too awful long, as long as everything cooperates and plays nice. But if something doesn't play nice, then we're going to have a problem. And the things that I think probably won't play nice are right here. I'm afraid that these probably not going to play nice. And I was thinking that they just had a snap ring on them, according to the picture. And from what I see here, the snap ring's already done gone. So that might be a heated up type of situation. I'm very puzzled at why this character did what he did here. Like, why not just take that off and make it the right way? See, I don't see the snap ring on that one either. It's kind of got me concerned that those are not going to play nice. And if those don't play nice, that's going to be a problem. I think I can do it. I really do. It's just a matter of, is it worth doing? I think it is. I think I can do it. If I just say it enough, maybe it'll be true, you know? This here, though, that just... I really believe that that is probably just being held on with rust. And perhaps I need to soak that for a good while before we start this project. I'm trying to decide what else. I could take that bolt off of the adjuster, and then this can stay with the hitch. So 6 bolts, that thing, and that'll take that whole apparatus off. This should just pop off by pulling and whatever. The wheels should come off. I'm thinking it's going to happen. It's just a matter of, do I want to do it now in the middle of summer when it's miserably hot outside or not? But yeah, I'll think on this and I'll decide whether we want to tackle this now or whether we want to procrastinate, which is our sweet spot. We might want to just hold off on this. But for now, I'm going to set you down. All right, let's just go for it. Whether we finish it now or not, it's not really that important. If we get started on it, we can plug away at it a little here and there over time. Boy, that's going to fight me to the bitter end, isn't it? It's probably not going to like what I'm doing here, because that is actually probably holding it right as we speak. So if I just, see, that's got tension on it, sure. I want to go what way? Up, nope. Okay, well, sure. Guess it won't flex quite that much. I thought it would. We'll have that run before we're done. Okay, let's take the bolts loose on the side and see what befalls us. Then what we'll have to do here shortly is we're going to have to move this out of our way, you know, because it's going to be right in our way where I'm at. But I don't like to think first. I like to do, you know. All right, so we're this far. Now we have to just lovingly flip it over. You know, lovingly. Let's see if we can do that. Lovingly. See how nice and gentle. Loving. Perfect. All it is right into the 550. Now, all we have to do, is drive this pin out here. We should be able to pull both wheels off and those stars, I think. So it would probably be smart to get a roll pin punch that size. Yeah, moo to you. So that it fits in there and doesn't ruin those. Let me go grab one of those and we'll give it a try. All right. I think that might be the size. Is that a solid pin or is it a roll pin? I thought it was a roll pin. Now, if all's right with the world, which it isn't, those things should come off of there as the machine boot. This is probably also how you set your backlash for your underneath drives the star, because it's just a leather bevel gear with a whatcha-me on it. It's gonna play hard to get here. It shouldn't do that because it's already hard to want. Seriously, you can't just play nice. I guess those are permanently stuck to it. Maybe that's just the outer lip of the bushing. Woo. All right. More important things. Important things to remember. Not knowing is half the fun. You know? I bet that's a pin right there. Alright. Let's assume that it is. thing we have video, because I'm gonna forget what went where, you know? This should come off as one now. Well, maybe not. This is a lot of work. Wonder why that's gonna be so hard to get off of there. Well, Tedder, there is a flat spot on both sides. Perhaps the giant adjustable is in order. The guy could turn that off of there. Oh, but when you've used it as a hammer too much, then she won't work anymore. Let's take this other side that far. You can see, if those numbers are to be believed, that somebody has already swapped out pieces, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, we're going to make this happen. The nice thing is, when we're done, it will have been totally gone through. Those cows see me, so now they're making Do you suffer from low intelligence and are easily entertained? Well, then hit that thumbs up button and leave a comment. And that way we can keep making entertainment that your feeble minds can understand. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.